the person who owns it doesn't really want to sell it, doesn't really want to use it, so it's pretty spare. It's a property.
But I mean, it looks almost as flash as any other place in Portobello Road, doesn't it?
Well, it is just a place in Portobello Road, and what you do with it, it's your business. It doesn't mean to be a squat doesn't mean it has to be a wreck, but generally, like, there are wrecks because they're usually in a transition period between either being renovated or being knocked down, and squatters usually sort of come into that mid-period and play with it.
But I mean, it's quite smart. Is it an art gallery?
It's like a social centre, or maybe a rehab centre. The idea is just to communicate, to have a place where people can come in and see things and get inspired and talk to each other and play football and basically just to talk to each other and to communicate with each other. That's the idea.
But like the things that are up on the walls, are they all for sale right now?
If people offer money for them, yeah. I mean, at the end of this project, we'll probably clean everything up and put a price tag on it, yeah, before we go.
And but anyway, like, you are Joe Rush from the Muso Waste Company, yeah?
That's me.
Yeah, right. And you make sculptures out of that rubbish?
That's right, yeah, waste, yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Like stuff that you find in skips and things like that,
Yeah, any skips will get given, or anything that's wasted, it can be, waste is like all sorts of things, it's not just rubbish, like it is. Like in squatting for a start, you're dealing with waste of space, and this is a space which is waste, because it hasn't got any function. So we take the space, that's the first bit of waste. Then anything you find in the space you use to create with. So then you're creating out of waste. So then basically that's what squats are, they're waste of space.
So do you think like a load of kids could actually go out and just go into empty places and do it up like this?
Well, it could, it depends where you are. It's getting more and more difficult in, well, at least in London, to do it. Because of the sort of property building and, I don't know actually, I don't know why, because you get evicted much easier nowadays, and much quicker. But in actual fact, nobody's got any plans to do anything with the place anyway, because all the builders' firms are going bust. Nobody's buying houses anyway when they are renovated. So I think they just do it to be bloody minded, really. That's right.
And you've added to a continent, yeah? What's the difference in the continent?
In squatting?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, there's different laws, obviously, about whether you can squat, but there's a different attitude to it in different places. In Italy, they squat for political reasons, because they don't actually need to squat in Italy because they all live with their mums, So they squat for political reasons and take over places in big social centres, communist centres, and this sort of thing, and they make them into venues, and bars and social centres and so on. That's Italy. Holland's the same, really. In Holland, they've got an active thing, but they're very organised, much more organised than British people, because British people tend to squat for somewhere to live. But
well, now it's more like political gesture.
Yeah, political gesture, or it's done more for. It's done more as as a venue, as an entertainment. As you put on entertainment.
Well, is it something to do with they've got a different lifestyle?
Yeah, they got more money. Apart from Spain and that, like Holland and Germany and Italy and France are all pretty rich countries.
Yeah, but do you think the kids that are squatting, they're trying to create a different lifestyle from what their parents were doing, and they can just go to a place and they can do what they want?
Yeah, it's playland. You see, it's like the double deckers that used to run the telly. Do you remember the double deckers? There was all these kids, and they used to live in an old bus in an old yard. I mean, that's where the Mutoid started from that idea, having a playland, and getting loads of scrapping and playing with it and making stuff out of it, wrecking it, and then weighing it all in at the end of it,
Well, it's playland for kids as they're growing up, or just people as they...
Well, it's like in your own home, you can't paint a wall, you can't decide to just knock down a wall or build a staircase here or build your bed on a platform, It's very rare you know, either you've got a landlord on your back or you've got your mother on your back or, you know, so whatever. So like, you know, it gives you freedom to play with environments, you know, like, and to dress them up.
Do you think anything permanent could come out of it?
No, but I think that's the essence of it, you know, it's the essence of mutation, the essence of squatting, is that it isn't permanent, you know, that it's temporary, you know you're going to be out, you know, you're not putting down roots, you're just using it while it's there, and then when it's gone, it's gone.
No, but don't you think that, like, so far as, like, you know, you're removed from, like, society kind of controlling you right now, that, like, you can create your own society out of that, and something permanent might come out of all of that.
Well, yeah, people you meet, you know, like, but I don't think there's anything permanent on the planet, you know, really. And I think the idea of permanence is most people's ball and chain, really. You know. I don't think that, how can you have anything permanent on something that's spinning around, you know, every sort of 24 hours and hurtling around the sun at God knows what speed, you know. You can't have anything permanent in that.
Apart from an erection.
We should be so lucky, you know. So,
Hard to detect a natural palsy.
So at the moment, anyway, like, you're squatting in a shop in Portobello Road, which is like one of the most groovy places on the planet.
one of the most groovy places in London, yeah.
Yeah? So, what about other places to squat then?
Well, I mean, there's no, you don't have to squat houses, you know, like you can squat yards, churches, boats, you know, there's different laws, you know, pertaining to squatting any of those things. But if you're squatting houses, it's easy because you just have to lock the door and fill the rooms up, you know, like, if you're squatting a yard, it's a different thing, you know, because you need to be able to live in the yard, you know, which means having your home with it. And then to do anything constructive with it, you need your tools, you know, you need you know, like mobile workshops, and you need to be able to, you know, the bigger the job you're taking on, the more you need to be kitted up to do it, you know. And also, like, you know, like, if you take a warehouse and you know, you just, suppose you've got a warehouse and you want to end up living in the offices, the place isn't really occupied, you know. Whereas if you've got just, you know, a lot of trucks and trailers, you're actually using the space, you know. It seems to give you more sort of firm stronghold on the place. You know.
Yeah, and there's more sort of like factories and things coming empty now anyway.
Well, there is, and that, you know, and houses really as well.
There's this whole thing with houses that, like, all the mortgage companies are repossessing people's houses right now.
Well, this is it, you know, like, you know, I strongly suggest people should re-squat their own houses when they get them repossessed, you know. Well, I lost a bit, isn't it?
Well, that's probably because you ain't got a mortgage.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like what I'm saying is, like, it's going to be like a lot more sort of like empty houses becoming empty, like, in the near future.
Yeah, but I mean, for every empty house, there's a homeless person or more, you know. So, like, I mean, the thing is about squatting is that though it's just about legal, they're getting less and less so. But, you know, at the end of the day, you know, where are they going to put all these people who come out onto the streets anyway? And, you know, also, like, the last place we got was people. And we were evicted by the church who owned the property, you know, like, so it seems very strange to me that a representative of the church can see people standing on the pavement with all their goods and chattels around them and think that they're doing something for homeless people, you know. It's a bizarre idea, but then again, you know, like, you know, you get right through the winter without paying any gas or electrics, which is quite nice anyway, you know. And you have, like, the freedom to do what you want in the place. But, you know, you find some places are squatted that you wouldn't even know they were squatted today, you know, they just look like normal houses and things.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I think that, like, most squats, like, get away with it by keeping, like, a low profile.
Yeah, well, there's two ways of doing
like,
it.
A high profile.
Well, yeah, there's two ways of doing anything, you know. You can do it low profile and in disguise, you know, or you can do it totally high profile and obvious, you know. And those are the only two safe areas. And anything in between, anything fairly obvious but trying to be discreet is, like, stands out of mind. So you've got to be, like, really obvious or really discreet. There's no halfway point.
That was the way you used to do it with the trucks, wasn't it?
That was it, yeah. You could just
Totally
get
over the top.
totally over the top, you know, yeah. And open as well, you know, like the police would come and we'd show them around and they'd get into what we were doing and see we had nothing to hide. And so, you know, that's a good fun of it. But also doing something creative with the space, you know, if you want to get on with the local people and that, you know, and they see you doing something creative, you know, they don't like having a big eyesore, a big empty place, you know, so, but, you know, if you just go in and scrap it and disappear again, you know, like, you're just like basically a bunch of tinkers, really, you know, and not very popular wherever you go, so I think.
But I mean, do you have any trouble with neighbours here?
Not here, but this is Portobello Road anyway, you know, I think we're pretty used to what goes on in this area.
I mean, if you went and did this in some like little town like south of France or something, there's no responsibility.
Well, again, you know, it depends on how you come across. You know, like if you're open and creative, you know, you turn people on, and if you're closed and secretive, you know, then you turn people off. You know, it's the same with, you know, it's not just squatting. That's all of life, isn't it? You know, if you've got something, if you're giving something, then you're an asset to the area, and if you're taking, then you're just, you know, taking off the area. So it's whether you make the place that you come to richer or poorer. That's what it comes down to.
I mean, someone told me that like squatting's allowed in France if you're an artist.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know about whether that's true or not, but we squatted a yard in Paris station, and we weren't allowed to be evicted under Napoleonic law.
Is that the
over the winter months?
not allowed to evict till April the 1st?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Brilliant. Is it
Yeah.
really humane sort of law?
You just had to be able to prove, in Paris, you had to be able to prove that you'd been in the place for 24 hours in order that they can't evict you. That's the catch. But they couldn't evict us because, you know, like, they knew we'd been there 24 hours because they escorted us back in the police cars, you know. So, like, that was all sorted, yeah. We squatted all over. We squatted in Spain. We're squatting at the moment in Italy, but with the local consent. Holland, like there was an island squatted, a huge island, totally squatted, mostly by English types, you know, but with a few sort of sprinkling of Germans. But the thing about squats is that generally they start off really creative, you know, and everyone's into it and keeping the place nice. And after a while, they degenerate, you know, like either the people change over and you start getting some sort of deadheads in and they start wrecking the place, or people's mood dies off the place, or it all becomes normal. And, you know, the place has got a certain amount of life, which has got nothing to do with the bailiff, you know what I mean? It's like how long a place can keep on being fresh for, you know. So it's, in a way, I mean, I think the joy of squatting is getting evicted, you know, because it means it keeps you fresh.
And how
You're
long
always
you've
going
got
in
it for,
new
it's the
place.
fact that you've had it.
Well, not that you had it, but that you got it, you know.
Well, you know, had it, got it,
So
got it,
where are you
had
squatting
it.
in Spain then?
Right by the where they're building the new Olympic Stadium, we're parked up there. A massive piece of land right by the mountainside up. But eventually, you know, they sort of made it uncomfortable for us, and we moved off and ended up in a holiday camp out on the seaside. Parked up in a caravan park. But, squatting in trucks is a good one because, you know, like the second you turn off your engine, you're there, you know. So, you know, like if you squat a house, you know, you can change your lock and that, but basically, you know, they can just throw you and your bed in out, or just you and lock everything else inside. But with a truck, it's a different matter. You know, you've got tons of kit, and the second you turn off your engines, you know, like it's a legal matter to get you moving again, I think.
And when the bailiffs do eventually come, all you've got to do is turn it on again.
Well, that's the theory of it, yeah. we push it.
Yeah, but if you're running your own
Wheeled out.
generators, you know, what?
So yeah, we've been pushed out, like wheeled out by the bailiffs before, you know. But,
It's a plug for my generating company.
So where are you now? Near Wolverhampton Motors in Europe?
yeah, they're down in Italy on this old factory site, which is by a river. It used to be an old gravel works, you know, in this outdoor site, but we've got a workshop and a couple of big factory units and a kitchen set up, and we've got a big tent that we use as a kitchen. All got our own trailers that we live in, and pretty mobile sort of outfit. Like we can get to a place, be in there and be producing sculpture work. We'll be eating by the afternoon. We're getting in the morning. We'll have the kitchen set up by the afternoon, and the workshop set up the day after. And the electricity cables, power.
And is that all legal, is it?
Or legal. What, What, to be squatting, you mean?
Yeah, in that place in Italy.
Well, no, but the thing is that, you know, like, because we get on with the local people, we came in to do a show, and because they liked the show and they all came down and brought the kids and that, it's just one of those situations where they like to keep it going. You know, they like us, they're not using the land, they like having us around. They'll come up and visit on Sundays in their best clothes. And that's been going on for a year now, and when we did actually ask whether we could make it legal or not, they just sort of don't talk about it, you know, because if you ask, we'll have to say no. But if you don't ask, you know, then you can stay here as long as you like. So that's pretty good. But there's squats in Milan, Bologna, Torino, Naples, and all of these squats are like, some of them are Communist Party, and they put on big gigs and run bars and so on, and they've got a really good network between the squats. Like if a band plays at one, it can get the whole tour, you know, like can do all the squats all the way down, get a good crowd in each, get fed, a good payoff on it, £500 each or something. So much more organised than the Italian squatters, are much more organised than the English squatters. English squatters are generally, like I say, you know, doing it for reasons of having somewhere to live and then getting on with their own life. Whereas over there it's much more movement, you know.
Do you think the squatting is like a working class movement?
No, I don't. No, it's just a misfit movement, you know. A movement of people who haven't got it sorted for one reason or another to take on a legal situation, whether they can't be bothered with it or, you know, they don't want to do it.
D6.
Yeah.
So the squatters really could be called John Major's Classless Society.
Yeah, they're the ones, they're the ones.
Do you think we're leading the way into the future of a new, caring, classless Britain?
Yeah. You have to put them somewhere. You know, you have to put people